Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This here is Max, and today we got something new for you. We typically do gameplay videos, but today we are going to look at the top 5 reasons why Halo Combat Evolved was awesome. And it was awesome. It was a super game. One of the best games I think ever made. I don't know how people could argue that if you've played it, and especially if you played it when it first came out on the original Xbox. It was so good. It was so transformative. And today we're not going to look at the multiplayer aspect. We're going to look at the campaign. And with that said, we're going to jump into to my top 5 reasons why Halo was so awesome. Alright, coming in at number 5, we're going to take a look at color palette or color scheme. Halo was a very unique experience because it offered the player a immersive experience, especially when it came to what you saw on the screen as far as the colors. It was not a bland game compared to other games at the time. You didn't just have darks and browns and blacks, and it was not just a very muddy experience. You had blues, purples, pinks, white, black, brown, you name it. It was in the spectrum. You saw it, and you saw it a lot of times in all the different colors in the very same scene, or very same battle, or very same mission. You went from having basically oh wow, you're having like the grunts, and they have the different colors, and they have the grenades when they throw them, the explosions of blue, the pink of the needlers, the greens of the plasma pistols. You had the elites with their blue from their plasma rifles. Was that plasma rifle? Was that what it's called? I think it was. You had the big like I say meteor, but it's like these big cannon shots from the Wraith tanks. You had the nice blue and white scenes when you're in the snow scenes. You had the more greens of the forest. You had those deep blues when you go into some of those caverns with the Forerunner technology. There was so many different colors that you were exposed to that it didn't get boring. There was always a different scene. There was always a different color. There was always those flashes of blue when the grenades exploded. It was always so cool to see. It was always so cool to put in front of your eyes. And I think that set it apart from the other games of the time. And it really was an immersive experience. So at number 5, we have the color palette. Alright, now we got coming in at number 4, we have the music or the score. Halo offered us some of the best music, I think, next to Star Wars, that you could have in a game. And just in a game. There was some... The music had to be immersive. It had to be it had to take something that was cool, like a battle or a fight, and then turn it into something epic. And it did that. Imagine flying in the dun 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 dun. You know the music I'm talking about, and I think you should be able to hear it in this video that's playing. You're flying in. That music's blaring behind you. You're amps you up, and then it brings you back down in some of the more like intense scenes when you're going underneath, or you're going in certain caverns when it's supposed to be more intense, supposed to be more surreal, not just this big epic fights. The score that was made had to be the best thing you heard in the game. Halo was the flagship game of the new flagship console from by Microsoft. It had to be better than everything else. It had no equal. And then if you listen back and you play through it, make sure the music's turned up. All the different scenes had a different feel to it, and it was all amplified by the music that was playing. It was somber, it was sad, or it was exciting and it was in your face, or it was intense and it was like, it almost felt it in your heart. The score, the music was better than any other music out there at the time. And I think it's still now, the music itself sticks with you. When you hear it, you'll never forget it. All right, coming in at number 3, we have the antagonist. We have the villain. We have the anti-hero. We have the person who our hero is supposed to fight. We have the evildoer. And in this particular instance, it is the Covenant. Now, there is a kind of Part B antagonist, like Part B villain that I'll get into in a second, but the main antagonist is the Covenant. The grunts, the elites, the jackals, the hunters. They are the main force that our hero goes up against. And they are so different, so cool, so immersive. And I keep bringing up immersive because you have to immerse yourself in this game. You have to get into it and appreciate all the different parts of it. Let's think about it. When you're playing your Call of Duties, when you're playing your other games, when you think of the bad guy, you think of this cookie cutter, copy and paste enemy. It's bad guy number 1, bad guy number 2, bad guy number 3, and they may have a different weapon or a different hat or a different shirt, but it's all the same general person. Not with Halo. When you have the grunt, you have the little bitty guys that are pushovers, but when they're in big numbers, then they're a bigger threat. You have your jackals. You have those cool shields that pop up, the different colors. They have the elites, the big tall guys with the shields, with the body shields that you got to break through. They have the plasma swords. You have the hunters, these big lumbering. Well, they're actually pretty fast, but the big brute lumbering enemy that shoots these big green cannons that you got to like dodge and look out for. Each different enemy looked different, sounded different, made different noises, different reactions to different weapons, to different explosions. Each one was different, and each one had a cool animation or had a cool presence that you had. And you couldn't just fight one. You couldn't fight a jackal the same way you fought a grunt. You couldn't fight an elite the same way you fought a grunt. You couldn't fight the hunters like you did a jackal. Each one was different. Each one was cool. Each one looked different. And there was you had to figure out in each fight who was the first target, who was the second target, who do I need to prioritize. It was a cool, different dynamic that you had to work through and really scope out at the fight. And coming up is that kind of Part B, that Type 2 antagonist, the antagonist light, was the Flood. This parasitic, all-consuming enemy that was not necessarily your direct enemy, but more of a universal enemy that you had to deal with and fight, that was completely different from the Covenant, from the little bitty baby Floods, that they jumped around, there was like a million of them, to the more infected ones that had different animations, that had different looks about them, had different things you had to worry about, from them jumping, leaping. And there was a big threat you had to take from the original Covenant. Then there's another threat that you had to learn to take care of as the Flood. Now there was a boss at the end from the Guilty Spark, but I don't even really count him because he doesn't even take place until later in the game. And it's just kind of he's not a presence like the Covenant were and the Flood were, but man were they different, man were they cool, and they set apart each fight. They came across as legit threats, and they just looked cool. They were just completely unique. All right, and coming in at number 2 was gameplay. Halo Combat Evolved set the tone for how you should create a shooter-based game. It was smooth. It was fluid. It was different. It gave you every single thing you would want in a shooter-type game. From the different ways, the different guns, the different explosions, the different vehicles, from your human weapons to your Covenant weapons, to your human vehicles like the Warthogs, the tanks, to your Covenant, from the Ghosts, from the Banshees. Each one offered a different element that you could explore, and it offered a different way to tackle each situation. Do I want to go on foot? Do I want to go by Warthog? Do I want to try to fly? Do I want to try to do this? It was literally, everything was mostly left up to your choice. Even though the stages were linear, even though the stages were like, it pushed you a certain way, it was still almost up to your decision how you wanted to do it. Did you want to use a pistol and assault rifle? Did you want to use an assault rifle and a sniper? Did you want to use the shotgun and the pistol? Like, literally every fight was your problem. Oh, you ran out of ammo? Let me pick up this this needler. Let me pick up this rocket launcher. Let me pick up this plasma rifle, plasma pistol. Everything was up to you, and it was seamless. It was not glitchy. It was not jumpy. It was not laggy. It was all just smooth as silk, and it was all your choice. It was all there to really stimulate your satisfaction factor of your brain, because everything was so cool. From taking those sticky grenades, like the plasma grenades, and nailing the elite with it, watching growl and yell at you as he blows up. It was always so cool, and I was always so different, and it was better, and it had to be. It had to be good. You could not have a bad taste in your mouth with this, and you didn't. It was really just heads and shoulders above everything else for its time. Okay, and coming in at number 1, numero uno, we have the protagonist. We have Master Chief, John Spartan. Is it John Spartan? Master Chief. That's all that matters. Spartan 117. He was the man. He was the best part of the game. Completely. He's on the cover. He is what drove it. It wasn't the elites. It wasn't the everything else. It was Spartan. It was Master Chief. I'll wait. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. It is the best part of the game. He was cool. He was cool personified. He was badass personified. And the fact that you could not see his face added a mystique to him, added a element of like mystery. So it intrigued you. It's like, what does this guy look like? What is he all about? He's just this badass, super soldier that just kicks all the butt and does all the cool things. Like, he could not be stopped. Unless you put it in legendary mode, and you got stopped a lot. Legendary mode was... Ooh, that was hard. Anyway. Master Chief is the protagonist, to me, of almost all protagonists. I don't think there was a cooler hero than him in any situation. From the way he walks, the way he talked, that voice, the way he commanded a scene, the way he took charge of the battlefield, he took charge of situations. I'm almost at a loss for words of just how important he was, how cool he was, and everything he meant to the game, to the franchise. If there was one single solitary character to push a franchise and push a console to the heights, it was Master Chief. Master Chief is one of the few gaming characters that is recognized outside of gamers. Most people, gaming or not, know who Mario is. Most people, gaming or not, know who Sonic is. Most people, gamers or not, know who Master Chief is. They see him. I know who that is. I don't know his name, but I know who that is. They recognize the figure, the cutout. He was that influential. He was that transformative. He is the best part of Halo Combat Evolved, and be honest, he's probably the best part of all Halos. Any Halo game that did not feature Master Chief suffered in my eyes. It was not the same experience. Like Halo ODST, not the same game. Halo Reach, not the same game. You have to have Master Chief to make a complete campaign experience. Alright guys, that is my list. That is the top 5 reasons why Halo Combat Evolved was awesome. Leave a comment down below if you think there are other reasons why it was so great that I did not mention, or reasons why. If the reasons that I did mention were not so awesome, let me know down below. I want to hear your opinion. I mean, this is a discussion. Game Timers is all about a community. We are here to create, inform, and conversate. Conversate? Communicate? One of those words. And it's us. This is a dialogue. We want to know what you think. Did you like the video? Did you not like the video? Do you agree with the list? Do you not agree with the list? Let us know down below. This is our way of talking. If you like the video, like the video for us. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're not. We'd love for you to hang around. Come back. We want to grow. We want to get bigger. We want to get better. We want to build this community, and we need your help to do it. Without you, there is no us. Well, there is us. We're just very lonely. So, come back to us. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back on the next video. With that, we are out. Thank you guys.